April 23rd, 2019, SmackDown Live. Spoiler alert, Kevin Owens is a heel and all is right with the world. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan, Raj Giri. Matt, how are you feeling about SmackDown tonight?
That you have to be the world's biggest idiot to befriend Kevin Owens.
Yes. But we bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Well, for purposes of kayfabe, maybe.
Maybe.
No.
We were hoping, and we got this too. Two shows in a row, Bobby Roode, now Kevin Owens. I love it.
Yeah.
Need more heels.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear they were going with Kevin Owens and Kofi at Money in the Bank. There was nothing else built, so it's clear they're going that way. It was just, when are they going to turn him? I almost thought they'd wait a week until next week and then do a tag match with Kofi and KO against Nakamura and Rusev and then turn him in that. But they did it this week. They still got 3 episodes to go before Money in the Bank. But yeah, I mean, I think it gives Kofi something. He needed something. Daniel Bryan's no word on what his issue is. So this is the next best thing. And I think I thought it was done well.
Yeah. So Daniel Bryan, we don't know what's going on. Speculation is abound, but he was not backstage at SmackDown tonight, correct?
Yeah. He hasn't been at any events, any live events, nothing since WrestleMania.
Why? His contract's up?
No, he was injured, but they're being really quiet on this injury. So obviously it's the scary thing knowing his history and everything. So, hopefully we'll find out when we find out, but right now there's no word.
Because he's on SmackDown, in my opinion, he's been like the most underrated wrestler this year. When you really break it down, how important has that guy been to that damn brand? Do you know what I mean? Because usually it was the house that AJ Styles built, right? When AJ was running that show, for the most part, AJ carried it. And then when Daniel Bryan came and became heel, I didn't like it. I was like, what are they doing? They just totally J-Bron AJ out of this at the top spot, and AJ earned this. But dude, Daniel Bryan kept cranking it up. Every week he got better. And he, in my opinion, was one of the best promos in both shows for quite a while, I would argue. One of the more entertaining acts, great in the ring as usual, but his character, I'm saying, was really, like, not enough people talked about it, I didn't think.
I agree with you. I think he's been the wrestler of the year so far. I mean, we're only a few months in, but I think he's the best on promos. I don't think anyone's better than he's been. The stuff he was doing on Kofi to build up that match, I think was fantastic. His matches have been great, and you believe his character. He doesn't come across like he's reading a scripted promo. So I think he's just been fantastic. It's really. A year ago, I wouldn't have thought as Daniel Bryan as being a heel, just because he's just so damn popular. He was so damn popular with the fans, but he pulled it off and he just ran with it. I think I agree with you. I think he's been the MVP of both brands.
Has he done this twice? Team Hell No. I remember all that, but like, was there the yes chance and then it went to no, and then it come back to yes, where it got super popular and he won his belt finally at Mania. Then he went back to no just now. Did he do it twice?
He did the no stuff for before first. It, like the yes really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was like
impossible.
Right. Yeah, it was a small section of fans that were doing the yes, and then he started doing the no, and then Team Hell No, and then he became babyface, and it just became gigantic, and pretty much been there except for that short period where he joined the Wyatt family for a few weeks.
Virtually impossible if you wrote that on paper, like, hey, go do this. I'm like, yeah, right. Nobody could make these people boo him. No way. I don't care what you make me. If I'm the writer, I would have him go commit murder and no one's gonna boo him. No way.
Yeah, no, Daniel Bryan, I mean, you could tell he was into it. He was into making this character work, and he did. So hoping he can come back soon, hoping everything's okay, because he's just been on fire. The most entertaining wrestler, in my opinion, in the business, as far as combining the promos aspect of it and the wrestling aspect.
And even though I'm not a huge fan of the whole Earth Nugget tree hugger stuff, I'm not. I'm a fan of him feeling it and believing it himself. But oh my God, him and Roman Reigns, though, bro. That could be really good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That being said, I hope he's well. I do not wish ill upon the man at all. I think a little time off the air is good. And I think that let this Kevin Owens Kofi feud play out, then bring Daniel back immediately after.
I think that is good. You're a good call as far as building another top heel, and maybe this gives KO a little bit more breathing room than what they did a horrible job of when reintroducing him did not do, bringing him in as a babyface, sandwiching him in there where there really wasn't any room.
Yeah. I think to your point, Glenn, I think almost everyone could use a little time off here and there throughout the year, so it keeps them fresh. If Charlotte was off the TV right now through this next pay-per-view, I think Charlotte did great tonight, by the way, but I still think she feels a little overexposed. If you kept her off until Money in the Bank, then brought her back after that, and then had her beat Becky for the title at the next pay-per-view, I think it would be, it's just one of those, it just adds a little pep when they come back, when they've been off of TV for a little bit. And
let's talk about it now because we're on the subject. Could you imagine Charlotte's getting some heat online, mixed reaction from the crowd about Charlotte facing Becky at Money in the Bank? Could you imagine if we didn't see Charlotte for a while? Money in the Bank, Becky has 2 matches, wins both of them to keep the title. Charlotte shows up on the next SmackDown and says, okay, yeah, but you still didn't pin me for that title. Set it up from there. I think that would have been a catapult back to the limelight.
Great. What's the heat though on Twitter with Charlotte?
Because we've seen, how many times have we seen this?
I guess these fans are spoiled. I mean, yeah, we have, but I'm sorry. I like watching great wrestlers wrestle. I can watch her over and over.
I just think,
and you have.
It seems to me. It seems like what they're doing is, the plan for a long time was for Becky to be on Raw and take over Ronda Rousey's spot on Raw as the top female. Charlotte would be the top on SmackDown. Seems like they're just going there quick. They get there, they do this match that, we've seen it a bunch of times, but after that, they're on separate brands and they kind of go their own ways. So I'm for it. I'd rather they have waited a little bit, but get it out of the way. Have Becky on Raw, Charlotte on SmackDown.
Her promo, we'll get into it. Go ahead. Sorry.
So we open up with Shane McMahon coming to the ring and giving a soliloquy on why you shouldn't punch people's fathers.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Roman Reigns came out and it looked like they were going to get into it, but then Elias joined the fray. So now we're getting this interesting feud in the build up to Elias versus Roman Money in the Bank, with Shane kind of being Elias' sidekick, or Elias being Shane's sidekick, was what we got out of this promo segment. What do you think about Roman and Elias working together? Again, they just came over from Raw together to SmackDown. What do you think about that?
I think they're both greasy-haired, bearded guys, right? Just throw Seth Rollins in there while we're at it for a triple threat. I think they're similar looking, but they're not similar looking. I know that shouldn't really matter, but they kind of are in a weird way, right? They're both built, both tall, but more importantly, their hair is the beard. It doesn't feel fresh, even though, because like you said, they're both coming from the same brand. But I normally would love Shane being paired with Elias. I really normally would, if Elias's character wasn't this musical guy, if he didn't do this musical act, if he was just any other wrestler, this would be great. I just don't know how. Hopefully we get proven wrong and this does work and Shane is able to somehow coincide with Elias and bring him up and raise his stock, and he does get that McMahon rub, you know what I mean? And it works. I hope it does, because we need Elias to really be brought up. We do.
I mean, you see how he look. I mean, he's jacked.
Yes, he is.
And I think the music stuff, it got him over. It got him to be where he is. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's becoming comical. It's becoming redundant. He needs to tone it down a little, become his own character, become his own thing, not a gimmick, and evolve. We're seeing Bray Wyatt right now, changing it up. And I think he needs a little bit of that. I'm not saying a complete overhaul, but drop the guitar, maybe tone down the music stuff a little bit, not play it every time, maybe once in a while, and just change it up.
Well, and the internet streams are dashed, at least on social media, because everyone was hoping Elias would be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, win the contract, and then carrying it around in a Money in the Bank guitar case for his tenure. I don't know if you saw that image that made the rounds on social media all last week. So it's going to be Elias versus Roman.
Look, it's not the most exciting feud, Roman versus Elias, but it gives Roman someone to beat his first pay-per-view, with SmackDown. And I mean, who else would you put Roman with right now? You don't want to put him in with Lars yet. You don't want Daniel Bryan's away, but if he wasn't, I still think you don't want to do that right off the bat.
Not right away. You're right.
So, I just don't know who else. Andrade's not ready.
Can't have him with Finn. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So there's really no one else right now. Randy Orton, I guess.
Have they done anything before?
They've been wrestling at house shows since he's been on SmackDown,
like
and yeah, they had a SummerSlam match when the Shield first split up.
Okay.
And they had a little feud, but yeah, I'm sure they're going to go to Reigns versus Orton after Elias. But for a first match at Money in the Bank,
those promos could be good, by the way.
Yeah.
Orton and Reigns.
Did you watch part 2 of the Chronicle with Roman and his leukemia
I did,
recovery?
Yes.
I thought it was very interesting when he said he doesn't care if he's not in a Universal title picture this WrestleMania, next WrestleMania. I wonder if he's saying he almost doesn't want to be right back at that top level right now.
I don't think he is. He doesn't need that championship, I would argue, at this point in the game, and I think he understands that. He doesn't need it. I mean, look, they just rolled out the red carpet. Michael Cole on that interview set of the Shield the other night just called him the cornerstone of SmackDown. The dude doesn't even, he just got there. And just completely roughshod over Daniel Bryan immediately without even, hesitating. You know what I mean? He called him the cornerstone of SmackDown immediately. Seth Rollins, you're the Universal Champion,
Yeah.
And so he doesn't need the title.
He doesn't, and he could be like how Cena was, where you just put him in the world title picture whenever you need it. You have him feud with other guys. If you don't have a ready built world title challenger,
and here's the difference, Raj. Here's the difference. I wish he would get the credit, and we used to kill him on here all the time, not because we didn't think he was good or anything, just because we were sick of WWE shoving him down our throat like you did to all the fans, right? We got annoyed with it, but I wish the fans would finally, and I think they are. But not over the leukemia portion where they relax off him because look what he just went through. Holy crap, hell and back, and here he is. You know what I mean? What a great story. I think that's why they backed off him. But I wish they would back off him to finally look at him and go, holy crap, he's better than we thought he was. He doesn't need a championship belt. He's not bitching about not being a champion like others that you just mentioned would have.
Right.
Yeah. I think for some fans, though, I think that the leukemia diagnosis gave him more of a backstory and more adversity, because that was the thing. Everyone assumed that he was just handed these opportunities because of his family lineage, because Vince saw something in him. I think knowing that he's overcome something to a portion of the fan base, they respect him now in a weird way. And I mean, I know that sounds really callous to say like, oh, well, leukemia made him credible to a portion of the fan base, but I think that is absolutely true. I think they take him more seriously now because he's struggled and we know about it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you really say to that? The crappy part. There are times where I hear the fans start to rumble a little bit with him, and I'm going, "Wow, you guys are the worst. You are all going to hell in a handbasket."
I mean, I felt like even with SmackDown tonight, I think you heard a little smattering of boos when Reigns is out there. But I also do think, we've talked about it for years. It'd be great. I don't know if they turn him heel yet, but at some point, if they turn him heel and let him run with that and show a different aspect of his character, I think it'd be great.
Wish, Raj, they could play. I don't know how they can get this done, but what they need to do is play those. Actually, the one that Glenn's just talking about, that last diary, about when they show him talking to the little girl and talking to all these other cancer survivors and leukemia survivors specifically, and that's a shoot. That's not an act. He's not BSing. He's not like going through the motions. You could tell when Randy does it. You can tell at times when John does it even. But you can tell, old boy here really is that invested in those little kids. And they got to play that somehow on USA. I don't know how they pay for the rights to do that, but they've got to do it because because by doing that, he could be the babyface for the next 5 or 10 years, and no one's going to want to see him as a heel. I'm being serious. Yeah. Like, he really is a shoot babyface in real life.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it before many times on this podcast with the guys we interview. I mean, I'm sure the guys you've talked to, Matt, and the guys you're friends with. Really Reigns is like the one guy I never hear anything negative about. Like,
dude, that early to be a locker room leader, like, dude, that doesn't just happen. When I was Undertaker for like 300 years, and then like JBL, guys like that, but like forever, right? Like, and then wasn't even really Cena. Like, and then all of a sudden, like Roman Reigns is. I was like, holy crap, that dude commands a lot of respect, obviously. Then,
yeah. So Elias left Roman laid out with the drift away. He went back with Shane McMahon, and they set up that match for Money in the Bank, Roman versus Elias. I'm sure Shane will be involved. Perhaps he will jump off something. Stay tuned for that.
You think they go to Shane and Reigns after that?
I thought that's where they were going tonight before Elias came out.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
You know, and that was snarky about like, oh, this is the feud we've all been waiting for. You know, Roman versus Shane.
Because the segment was to be Vince. It was supposed to be Vince, and you know, he didn't never obviously change at the last minute or whatever. But yeah,
I think Vince did all the flexing and dick swinging he needed to today with that Starrcast announcement. I think Vince was like, "I'm good. My ego's good."
Yeah, we'll get to that after SmackDown.
So after that, we had Kevin Owens backstage with the New Day, hyping up the main event tonight of Kofi versus Nakamura. More on that later. But then Finn Balor versus Andrade. Finn picking up the win this time on a non-title match. Did they explain why Andrade is now on SmackDown?
No. And it's such weak storytelling. I mean, Andrade did a little promo saying, I'm coming after Finn or something like that. But that's so all you have to do to switch a brand is be wanting to come after somebody. You know, why don't they give a storyline reason for Andrade being moved? Do something. You know, I came up with something on Twitter. Someone asked, well, what you do? And I just came up with something real quick off the top of my head. Yeah. And it took me 10 seconds to come up with something. And
Raj, that Spanish demographic, the Hispanic demographic that you alluded to, but on Fox as maybe as what WWE's trying to put out there, they should have went with that. He should have went with that in his promo actually, and saying I'm too damn valuable to the powers that be. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Talking about Fox and saying they, you know what I mean, and then brag about that to a degree without really saying, because you can't say Fox yet, right?
Right. Yeah, they need me on this because.
Yes.
Yeah, they need me on this show.
Actually, Zelina should have said that. Zelina should have been cutting that promo.
Yes.
The problem is that they don't have the Raw and SmackDown authorities anymore. So you can't have one person being like, "Oh, I drafted so and so from Raw, or I brought someone from SmackDown," because there's not that person in that role. But by having that, you can do so much more. You could be like, if Stephanie and Shane were still in those roles, they could have had Stephanie being on tonight, or Shane being like, Stephanie, you took Samoa Joe and Cesaro. We were supposed to keep this even. I'm bringing back Andrade. You know, I'm bringing back Andrade. Something.
I think it was the first draft. Me and Nathan Jones debuted on SmackDown, and Paul Heyman just out of left field, unscripted, wrote, Eric Bischoff, Stone Cold and Eric Bischoff, I outscooped you both. I got the first round draft choice right here, Matt Morgan and Nathan Jones. Like, he just pulled that out of his butt. And then, boom, I get looked at like a first draft pick. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he was the authority figure of the show, so it worked.
Yeah. That's why we need a GM back. Even the thing with Shane, like if the McMahons hate Roman so much, why is he on SmackDown? Why is he working there? You know what I mean? We need someone like Foley to justify why he's there and play off that with that tension.
Yeah. So the word back again now, why Andrade was moved was because him and Charlotte are, dating possibly. Right. Now there's there have been rumors. Now it's out in TMZ, so I think it's fair to talk about it, but that they might be engaged. I'm
happy for her. She's a really good girl, good person.
Yeah. And a lot of Charlotte is getting a lot of crap for it, but it's like, why? Like all the other couples are kept together. Yeah. People are like, oh, Charlotte got her way.
That's BS. Let me be very clear about this. And I watched it happen. So many men in years past would be able to have their girl on their show. And I'm not talking wife. I'm not even talking girlfriend. I'm talking Rezat brothers. And just so happened to be a performer. Do you know what I'm saying? And they were able to get their rats to stay on the brand. Like, are you kidding me? So now when the tables are turned and it's a female who's now not doing it with rap, but somebody that she actually loves and is maybe one day marry, nobody can take it. That's double standard and that's bullshit.
It is. No one would said anything when Undertaker had Michelle McCool on the same brand, or John Cena had Nikki Bella, or countless others. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte should not be getting crap for that. I mean, everybody would want to be on the same brand if they can.
Wake up, people. She's a main event act. Get used to it.
Yeah. And Finn Balor won that match with the coup de grace tonight against Andrade. So Andrade beat Finn on Raw a couple weeks back. I guess they're in a feud now.
We'll see. Little 50-50. One of those you beat me, I beat you feuds.
The action is always good, at least.
Absolutely. Great matches. I think on the promos, though, Zelina's got to do more talking, and they got to give Finn some energy to come back with.
Something. Give them a story. I was saying have, as far as Andrade moving to SmackDown, have him under a mask attacking Finn for a couple weeks, and then he gets unmasked. It's him, and he's been, because they had their separate careers internationally before. Andrade's been wanting Finn forever, and Finn keeps escaping. Like by the time Andrade got to NXT, Finn then just left. Andrade finally gets to Raw, and then Finn leaves, and so this was finally his way to get there. That explains why he goes to SmackDown. Finn begs for, a match with Andrade. Andrade beats Finn, so now he's on SmackDown, and they have this feud over the summer, with a backstory.
I dig it. That's good enough. That's good enough to get things going. Yeah,
it gives them something and gives them a reason to be feuding as opposed to just trading wins.
And I think Andrade could bring back some theatricality to this that he hasn't had since he's been in the WWE, going against someone like Finn. If Finn's gonna do the demon or something, I don't know. This could
needs to do something, because he just wrestles right now. He doesn't really cut any promos. He just wrestles. He flicks his collar and wrestles.
Flicks his collar.
Doesn't even pop it. He just flicks it.
Right.
Flicks it.
Yeah. It is what it is. Kairi Sane versus Peyton Royce tonight. We had Paige out in the ring with Kairi and Asuka. They were interrupted by, they were shown backstage footage of Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville confronting Paige about not doing an Absolution reunion, but instead going with Kairi and Asuka. And we got Kairi versus Peyton Royce tonight. The tag team champs again lost in singles competition. How are the Iconics elevating these women's tag team championships?
They're not. They're obviously not, Glenn. And that took forever for you to get to, for the record.
Well, I have to recap everything.
Lord.
I have to recap everything, Matt. Some people don't watch the programming. They just watch this podcast.
Raj has made that abundantly clear that people come to this show that don't watch the actual show sometimes, right?
Yes.
So they're waiting on the results. So anyways, just busting your balls. You're right. They're not doing anything for the titles. I did like the connection there of them talking about Paige and wanting to do a reunion. I like that. I like that attention to detail. I thought that was cool. But the Iconics, I was so excited because I thought the titles would help really elevate them and make them get to those other girls' level, like to some degree, that were in that 4-way tag match at Mania. You know what I mean? But it is not working that way.
I mean, they've killed those titles in record time. I mean,
and it's not fair. Let's reword that. Because they're young, they're new. Let's not say they killed it. Let's say
I mean WWE
creative team.
Yeah, I'm saying WWE as far as beating the Iconics nonstop since they've won the belts.
Ridiculous.
Every match except for one where they beat a couple of local enhancements now. Yeah, I don't mean the Iconics. I mean WWE. Because think about just a month ago how exciting it seemed like you were going to have this one set of titles that was going to go to NXT and SmackDown and Raw and be defended on all the different shows.
Yeah.
Sasha and Bayley showing up in NXT, and it just seemed like something different, something new.
Very cool.
Bayley and Sasha lost it for no real reason. Again, they could have done a real feud with the Iconics, ending with the Iconics winning it after a while, so that win meant something.
Meant more.
And have a classic match along the way, because the Iconics, no offense to them, I'm not recalling a classic match they've had on the main roster. Raj,
no, they've not had a signature Hallmark match yet, benchmark match. They have not.
Right. So a long feud with Sasha and Bayley would have done them some good, like working with two good workers who can help them in the ring. And it could have got them ready for an eventual title run. But now, I mean, it's just the titles mean nothing. Iconics are presented as a joke. They lose quickly. Look, I wouldn't have beaten Kairi Sane either. You could have had a Kairi Sane beat somebody else. The Iconics beat somebody. But I mean, this is the way they went. I mean, I love Kairi Sane. I hope they go with her and Asuka sooner than later. So, the company doesn't ground the belts too much, because I don't think they would beat Kairi Sane and Asuka that often right off the beginning.
Hope not. So Kairi won that with the insane elbow, got the easy win on Peyton Royce tonight.
She's great, by the way. Kairi Sane is awesome.
Oh, how money is she?
And she's, again, the charisma and everything too, like not just in the ring.
Love her selling. Love her baby face.
Yeah, and while such a natural baby face, such a natural baby face.
While standing tall, Mandy and Sonya Deville came out mocking Kairi and Asuka, staring them down, and then Jinder Mahal's music hit. They did this again. Jinder and the Singh brothers came out, no transition, explaining what was going on.
Stupidness. That's all.
But Jinder was set to face Chad Gable. Chad Gable entering to the American Alpha music. No Robert Roode robe on him. And then he got ambushed by Lars Sullivan, who then went to beat up Jinder, beat up the Singh brothers, and then R-Truth came out and Lars Sullivan beat him up for good measure. So.
Yeah, I mean, the basic build for Lars, the same stuff they were doing with Braun. Chad Gable looked like he was rolling around in a tub of Crisco before he came out. Like he was greasy as hell. But yeah, I mean, this is all about building Lars.
It is, but I wouldn't have thrown him in that. He just broke up. You know what I mean? Unless they don't see anything in him, which I don't know how you don't. That guy is in immaculate shape. He's improved in the ring. I thought he was always a pretty decent damn promo. They just didn't keep giving him the mic or the ball, rather. NXT, he got good promos.
Well,
and I guess he's a baby face again, right? He seemed like he was baby face-ish, even though he just turned a few weeks ago.
I think unless you're Kurt Angle and have a gold medal, they do not see value in that style of wrestling.
It's hard to argue.
His size works against him in that company, and I think Chad is, with how WWE books, he's probably best suited in the tag team. And, I'm trying to think of who else on SmackDown would be a good fit with him. I mean, maybe someone like R-Truth that brings some character to it. And then you have that dichotomy with, R-Truth doing the comedy and stuff, Chad Gable with the wrestling, and you could do some entertaining segments. But, I don't know.
I mean, he did the comedy with Jason Jordan, though. You know what I mean? He
right.
The Jason Jordan straight man, right?
Right.
God, they were so good and so fun to watch live. I mean, that style of wrestling when he would just put on those exhibitions.
Yes, I agree, man.
It was really good. I just don't think it ever translated that well to the main roster.
Yeah, maybe people bringing up Shelton, maybe put them back together because Shelton's not doing anything either.
I'm afraid that's not going to go anywhere.
Well, they need to do something. They have no tag teams now in SmackDown. The Hardys are injured, which we'll talk about in a minute. Or Jeff Hardy's injured, and the B team, I guess, is moving to SmackDown. But, I mean, good God.
I'm telling you, Enzo and Cass are available. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
Make it happen, creative. So after. What was interesting in the Lars segment tonight, no Carmella, and Carmella was playing up their little glance exchange on social media all week. I thought that was interesting. She wasn't involved tonight. Sorry.
I bet she was. That dude's about to get a monster push. That's smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to be a part of whatever big storyline you can be a part of. Smart on her if that's what she's doing.
Add yourself to that story as opposed to just being in R-Truth's corner. Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Dance break, I think, has had its 7 seconds. At this point. So Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair come out to the ring, cutting promos. Charlotte pointing out that Becky never beat her for the title. Mm-hmm. Becky, and I got to say, I love this, said that what she wants to happen is for Charlotte to step aside, let Bayley, let Mickie James start naming other women on the SmackDown women's roster, get a shot, go to the back of the line. Mm-hmm. And Bayley came out, interrupted that. Challenge Charlotte right there. They didn't make it clear it was going to happen tonight, but it did happen tonight. We had Bayley versus Charlotte for a future title opportunity against Becky Lynch. They didn't spoil it. It was going to be Money in the Bank. What did you think of Bayley and her promo tonight and her match against Charlotte, Matt?
Promo was okay. I thought the match was outstanding. I thought it had some really good falses in there. But back to Charlotte. I thought Charlotte's promo was excellent. Her whining has finally, I don't know what the word is, it's finally permeated enough to where it's her thing, right? It's it's her echo, it's her noise, her ism, whatever you want to call it, it's her. It's Charlotte Flair.
She's not memorizing a script.
Yes.
Like, it feels like her. Yeah.
And she's not being her dad and all that. Even the woo is coming in at the right time. It feels like everything feels like it's gelling. And I feel like I'm watching Charlotte Flair be Charlotte Flair. And a little bit of predictability, I've always told you guys, is a good thing when you're a character, because you want to be able to semi-predict what they're going to say or do in certain situations. That's how we emotionally invest in them, because we can have a little bit of predictability in how they'll handle things. So when they don't, after a while, we get shocked and we get even more entertained. But we got to get there first. And she's been really laying the bricks and the foundation to get where she's at right now. And I think she's the the show as far as female wrestling goes. I really, really do. Becky, I want to point out, I don't know what it is. Do you guys like her gear? I know it's a weird question to ask.
It's kind of Kill Bill-ish.
That's okay.
Yeah. As badass as she is, does that look bad? I just think I don't know what I'd put her in. I don't know what I would suggest. I just know it's just like a yellow stripe down the side. I'm not like,
well, it's tough to coordinate when you've got a blue belt and a red belt.
Like I said, it's a weird question I just asked.
It's like Cena's first trunks when he first came on.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Look.
You know what I mean? Like she's badass personified, Mrs. Shootster, right? She's a shooter now, basically, on the mic is the way I always watch when she comes out, and I hope we're going to hear something new out of her mouth each week. So I don't know, it's something with her gear. Even at Mania, I was like, out of the three girls, her gear, not her physique, not her look, nothing, but her gear specifically seemed the least overwhelming. Overwhelming.
I also thought her entrance was a bit shortchanged compared to Ronda having
her on her entrance yet again.
Yeah.
I also just felt like in this promo, Charlotte I felt like she kind of overshadowed Becky in this promo.
Yes.
Like she came across like just so much bigger, if that makes sense.
She did. She looked like a huge star.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were pointing out that they felt like Bayley should have won. I don't agree. Bayley's been so cold. I felt like this only helped Bayley, like Bayley being in there with Charlotte and their interaction. And then the match, I think this helps Bayley. I think they could keep doing that with her, get her up there, build her up, and then she can have that feud with Charlotte later this summer.
And she needs to eventually beat her, though. She does. To build that next big thing, or whatever you want to call it, next big female, rather, in that division to take on Beck. But it was a great match. Real good match. Good falls.
Yeah, I think character-wise, Bayley needs to kick it into fifth gear before she's in the title picture, because tonight, I wasn't feeling her character, really. I think that she's got to tell the story a bit more. I don't know if they want her to turn. Her as a babyface against heel Charlotte would be money.
Well, look, hang on real quick. What do you do, though? Because, she does have a great character.
Yeah.
Who the hell doesn't who doesn't like her? Everybody does. All the fans generally do. They've just done a piss poor job of displaying, what a great, again, I was talking about Roman Reigns earlier. I would argue she's the same damn way. She's a true blue babyface in real life.
Yeah, I just think she probably needs to evolve a little bit too. And I'm not saying a heel turn.
What do you mean, no hugs?
Yeah, get rid of the hugs, get rid of the car dealership, flying people, and just a little more serious. You're still a baby face. You're still nice, but you're not going to be taken advantage of. You've grown, you've matured, and you're not going to be taken advantage of in a feud with someone like Charlotte. Get there, and by SummerSlam, because on the women's side on SmackDown, she's the one I see the most as far as having a main event feud with Charlotte. Yes. And so
we're all in agreement. Charlotte's probably going to win the SmackDown Women's Championship at Money in the Bank.
That's what I think.
Ooh, I think it's still too. Well, maybe, yeah. And then what's the prediction? Bayley takes it off her, right? Eventually.
Yeah, maybe it's SummerSlam.
A nice chase. That'd be a good chase if they do it right.
Yeah, and I think you have Becky on Raw, so she's exclusive to Raw. Charlotte's exclusive to SmackDown, so you give them a break. Someone pointing out in our chat that Becky's 5-2 against Charlotte on pay-per-view, so they have wrestled a lot.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so this gives them a break. You put them on separate brands. They do their own things, and next year at WrestleMania, if they're still the two hottest women in the company, you maybe do something then, or hopefully someone else comes up too, so you can freshen things up.
And to what we were talking about, I think we were talking about this off the air. Have Lacey Evans just snap after losing, beat the crap out of Becky. Maybe Becky has to forfeit the match or barely competes at all when Charlotte wins. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you could go with it, but I think.
I don't think she forfeits, but I think she's left beaten down, and maybe Charlotte just comes right then for her match. And
they're back to back.
Yeah, and then Charlotte just it's easy picking. Charlotte gets the cheap win. Doesn't hurt Becky. You get the belt separated.
Get Lacey over too.
Yeah, and then you could keep Lacey going with Becky.
I think with Lacey, so we were joking about this, Matt. I know you reacted.
Stuck in the time.
The blast from the past theory. So people tried sending her some jokes because she's on Cameo now. So people tried sending her that stuff as jokes. Some of the stuff we've been talking about on Twitter. And Lacey Evans was like stone-faced, no sense of humor, cutting these dry promos, which work for her character. But that's the thing. I'm saying she's not showing any emotion at all. No humor, no rage, no passion. So I would love to see her just snap, tears streaming after getting beat by Becky, just go like completely mental on her and beat her up after the bell rings and show something that's not poise, I think that will show that she's got this deadly dark side behind the facade.
Well, real quick, when you say she's no selling stone face, you mean doing her thing where she takes the handkerchief out and does the wiping her?
Yeah,
wiping
I'm just thinking she seems
stuff?
so poised and put together. Like there's no emotion there. Like her character is just.
We like that. This is just the first layer.
I know.
We like this first layer. We want to experience more, but we want it to
sizzle.
Take its time. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. Rage would be an awesome first thing to break that layer after the match.
That's a fifth layer, though.
Yeah, this is her first pay-per-view match, dude. You know, first singles match.
But do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, because Glenn, she's a legit badass. Supposedly,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Was she a drill sergeant or Marine or something like that? She's supposedly like a legit badass in real life. So, like, let's get there, but let's not give everybody that overnight.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the tears and everything, but having her beat the hell out of Becky after losing, that kind of fits with her gimmick anyway, because she's been attacking Becky after her match anyway. Some people are saying that it's too early for Becky to lose. I kind of disagree. I think her being on Raw and SmackDown each week is kind of overexposing her a bit, and I feel like her being on one show will actually help her.
Here's the thing, Glenn and Raj. I'm sorry. Here's the thing, Raj. Is like I agree with the fans because that was my first reaction. I didn't say it, but that was my first thought when you guys were bringing up her losing right away to Charlotte here. And then we talked about the record being 5-2, so I didn't get back to it. But I was thinking the same thing the fans are here, because what we're going to end up doing is if she loses that title, we're going to remember what a flop. We're going to come back to it and say what a flop that was. They put 2 titles on Becky Lynch. They overexposed her like the next month or 30 to 60 days, and then she lost the titles too quickly. We will come back and we will say those words. I guarantee it. If she loses this title, it'll be a year from now. It'll be 6 months from now when we say, "Hey, remember when Becky was red hot and they screwed it all up?" Yeah. You know, this will be part of it. So I don't think she should be losing this early either. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, if she doesn't, they shouldn't have her on both shows. Have her do a feud for a while on Raw, then a feud for a while on SmackDown. But having her, 2 shows each week, I just think it just, I don't know. She comes across as less of a star every week since WrestleMania. And I don't want to see them going in that direction just because I think she has been, the best thing they've had over outside of her and Daniel Bryan over the last 8 months.
I think it's hard to write 2 feuds at the same time and have them both be compelling and dynamic.
Right.
So no, it's not. They've done this before. I mean, Monday when SmackDown and Raw were on, and The Rock and Stone Cold and all those guys wrestled back to back shows, they were able to do it.
But they were usually involved in one feud, and it was just on both shows. Yes. As far as having 2 separate feuds on 2 different shows.
But they weren't overexposed, and nobody started like turning on them because they saw them 2 days a week.
Well, Rock and Stone Cold, they had separate brands when they were on, right? Like they had the brand split. Like when you were on, Matt, they kept them separate.
But not Attitude, not Attitude Era. I mean,
right? But Rock, I mean, they didn't have SmackDown until after like 2000. But
and you know who's kind of burying it is Becky. If you look on Twitter, her promo's talking about how like, just another blonde who, wants a shot at my title. Like she's making it seem like there's no difference between Lacey and Charlotte, lumping them all in together. I don't think that's good for WWE either,
I see why she says that though, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, but that's the point. Like there's a lot of truth to it, but you don't want your talent saying that. We're all saying that, but Becky shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah. Touché.
Yeah. So we got another Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse segment tonight, the same way they did last night. This is I'm still a fan of this.
I watched it twice today on YouTube. I watched it twice.
Yeah. It was just as good the second time for sure. Actually, I watched it again too. This is the first time I think since probably since the Batista angle that I've watched something on Raw a second time.
Yeah.
And a quick correction: SmackDown was summer of '99. So yeah,
it's close.
So long ago. Yeah. Charlotte Flair won against Bayley on the figure 4, and then immediately afterwards, Becky announced that it will be Money in the Bank, where she'll compete twice, once against Lacey for the Raw Women's title, once against Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. Main event tonight, we got Kofi Kingston versus Shinsuke Nakamura with Kevin Owens on commentary. And Well, Raj, you weren't surprised. You were just sitting there counting down for this, right? That I mean, the interference from Rusev and Lana was nice, I thought, in the match.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it was either going to happen. I figured there was going to be Owens and Kofi at Money in the Bank. I just didn't know if they would do it this week because they have so many weeks to go until Money in the Bank, or they hold it off for a week, and they have a natural tag match there with, Kofi and Owens against Nakamura and Rusev. But yeah, they did it this week. I thought it was good. I hope this brings a little change in Kofi. Like, when I see him right now, he doesn't feel like the guy, and I just think tweak his look a little bit, his outfit, make him look more stand out, not wearing the same thing as Xavier. And it's the same thing we've been saying. Just give him more individual promos, show some fire, and present him like a champion.
Kofi on his own needs to do this too, though. One would think, dude, here's your chance. You're the heavyweight champion of the world, dude. Like, no offense to your boys, you're not dissing them by wearing different gear. Now is the time, dude. You can always go back to the 3-man group, dude. You're the champ. You know what I mean? Go out there and try something that we all have something in our head when we're the world heavyweight champion. I'm sure. I'd like to think so. As far as maybe gear goes, or a character goes, or a change in pace or something.
Yeah.
Especially with Big E out. Although you think of Money in the Bank, he comes back and makes the save of some sort.
No, I think they break the group up, and I think Big E turns as well.
Wow.
It would give them a jolt. But yeah, I mean, I just think you look at Kofi and you look at Roman. I think Kofi, to your point, Matt, study tapes. Really, you've got this opportunity to run with it. Really try to do everything you can to make yourself stand out, and make yourself look like a superstar. Because the fans are behind you now. It's just yourself to sell people that you deserve to be in the spot you're at.
You want to hear something crazy? He could go back to the green trunks at this point, and it would be considered like an homage or a throwback at this point. It's been so long that I think it would be new. Do you know what I mean? Just a change up of the look, right?
Yeah. I don't. He's gotten a bit skinnier since back then. I don't know if he's, if he would look too skinny in trunks. I don't know. I kind of thought that was why he moved to tights to begin with.
Oh, maybe that's why Christian always wore them.
Yeah, because Kofi used to be pretty jacked up when he first started.
Cool. Exciting. Justin LaBar just DM me. He's going to interview the puppeteer who did the Bray Wyatt sketch. Matt, when you listened to that, did it sound like Abby the Witch to you, or did you hear Pammy the Witch? There was debate on Twitter during SmackDown.
Nothing. And Justin LaBar, are you kidding me? You just wasted our time on the air.
Hey,
Hang on. You interrupted my Glenn Rubenstein during our show for that garbage. Come on, dude. I mean, good Lord, whatever.
Hey, I'm just counting down the minutes till Cobra Kai, Matt. We got an hour and 7 minutes till that.
Wait. Dude, no offense. Nobody gives a crap.
You would be surprised how many people are talking about it.
Come on, guys. You guys are way better than this. Come on.
We have to keep ourselves entertained, Matt.
I'm sure WWE has it mentioned somewhere in some tweet, what the name is. I'm pretty sure it's Abby. It makes sense. And Mercy is obviously a playoff of Waylon Mercy, which was Dan Spivey's old gimmick, which was very similar to Bray Wyatt back in the 90s, for people that don't remember that or weren't fans. It was actually a really cool gimmick.
It was cool.
In the cartoony period too, where he really stood out, but they just never, his injuries caught up to him. He couldn't really go anywhere with it.
It was right when Cape Fear was out.
Yeah. I think it's funny how excited people are for this Bray return and this revamp. I mean, it's kind of nice, right? I feel like a lot of the time we're speculating. We're talking about the possibilities. Like, this is what wrestling should be, thinking about, oh, this could happen and this could happen, and wouldn't it be cool if we don't get enough of that anymore. That's what I miss as a fan.
Yeah, so is he going to bring like a wagon with those puppets to the ring? I'm wondering where they're going with it once he actually wrestles, right?
Right. Honestly, I watched it 2 more times on YouTube earlier, right, today, and I saw the gimmick where he had his gloves on, right?
Yeah.
It said evil, and then there's whatever the hell it said.
Hurt and heel,
right? And it hit like that heel music really quick for like 2 seconds, and then it was back to "Hi, I'm me," whatever his gimmick is now. Happy good guy. And I wonder if he's still gonna be heel in a way and he's just luring us all in right now. It's endless possibilities is my point, and he's taking a huge risk with this, a huge risk.
Yeah.
And how the freak do you not applaud that? First of all, his first gimmick, Bray Wyatt, was a huge risk to begin with. I remember watching it when he's starting in an FCW. You know what I mean? I was like, oh boy, this is not this. What is he doing? You know what I mean? Because at that time, his brother was the one that was more over, and they were a tag team and FCW tag champions. His brother was way more over, Bo Dallas, and was the man. And then it was like, well, this is a huge risk. This isn't going to work. And it worked. And then he blew up, right? And he's doing it again. I'm like, these are not just normal risks, you guys. These are like the stuttering character, but making it work. Like taking something insane.
It could blow up in his face big time. And if they book him badly, like if he's losing to Andrade right off the bat, it can hurt him.
And this is why, Raj, it's important that they give people wins. They always argue back with us like, oh, wins and losses doesn't matter. And I'm like, it does though. It does matter sometimes. Like,
it's that momentum. It shows where you are in the pecking order. When people see you in a certain way, it just makes you seem more and more like a star. So I'm very curious to see where they go with it. I think it'll be interesting. I mean, and with those promos, because it would seem like Bray is kind of doing the babyface thing and then go kind of crazy for a second, then babyface, then going crazy. Then he's got a chainsaw, So it's I really dug him, and I'm eager to see more of them.
No, it's super, super interesting. Speaking of promos, Alistair Black also had a promo tonight. Perhaps not as intriguing as Bray Wyatt's.
How the hell did I miss this? I missed this somehow.
It was kind of dull. It was him against just a basic background, kind of dark. What was he talking about, Raj? People like boxing him in?
I forgot already. Yeah, it was a dark background. I think, was he outside and it was dark? No, it was daytime when they were there. So
isn't this crazy? So you have like the satanic dude tonight got upstaged by a guy hosting a kid show in terms of creepiness.
Yeah, so I wonder if that meant Alistair Black's going heel. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall. All in all, I thought pretty good SmackDown tonight. Right?
Great close with KO turning and
yelling, freaking out at Kofi. That was fantastic.
This
feels right.
Good
show.
I
didn't like the first hour that much, but I thought the second hour more and made up for it. The stuff with Charlotte and Bayley and the Kofi stuff, I thought, and Owens was awesome. So really strong second hour.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be happy once the title is back on Charlotte. I think I just have to sort of grin and bear it until that point, because we've seen this before. I don't think they're going to throw us any great curveballs.
I don't think so.
We could be surprised, but who knows?
Well, it could be Charlotte loses, Lacey loses, and then someone cashes in Money on the Bank after Bayley loses this. I mean, Becky loses the second match, and so you have a surprise there. And again, you could still do someone from
Bayley.
What's that?
You could hot shot Bayley that way, right?
You could. You turn Bayley heel with it by having her, cheat to get it. Yeah, actually, that'd be kind of interesting way to go about it.
Yeah. Do you think Bayley has the confidence to come out and cut a promo on Charlotte, like that you just got outplayed by the true dirtiest player in the game? Like, I don't think Bayley's got that in her. I would love to be proven wrong.
It would sound like she's like imitating Ric Flair as a fan for sure if she did.
Oh, absolutely.
Sasha would be great in that role.
Yes.
So Sasha,
that would be a great surprise if she was a surprise in the Money in the Bank and cashed in, and then took the SmackDown Women's title. So Becky's on Raw, can't get a revenge on Sasha, and then you build that up to later in the year.
Yeah, that's actually money right there. Like I would pay money for that. Actually, yeah.
So what's up with Sasha? What's the latest word? She's still on vacation with Kalisto?
She's still gone. There's rumors that she is thinking about sitting out the rest of her contract, which, we've seen what happened with Neville. WWE doesn't really allow it. They won't release you. They will extend it for the period that you're not working. And they've done that with people with injuries. So I would guess she knows that. And I don't know. Who knows? Who knows where her head's at right now? But nothing's really changed. She's still on the outs with the company. She's not. They haven't worked anything out yet.
Okay. Speaking of Ric Flair earlier, it was announced he's going to be roasted at Starrcast II in Vegas coming up. It's going to be sponsored by Blue Chew. Very excited to have helped put that deal together. And who's not going to be at Starrcast? The Undertaker and Kurt Angle. WWE flexed their muscles a bit because they've re-signed them both to contracts and are forbidding Undertaker and Kurt Angle from appearing for meet and greets and photo ops in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, that was that was the biggest announcement that they had for Starrcast was Taker. I mean, it shocked a lot of people. I mean, the word of that just went crazy. So you could see Vince and WWE were not happy with it.
Who gets that money?
I'm sure WWE probably. So Conrad Thompson did an interview with Sports Illustrated, and he said that Vince basically said that they would take care of, any losses or whatever, and they'd work with them on getting somebody else. Conrad asked for Shawn Michaels, and he actually asked for I think he asked for Vince and Stephanie or Triple H. It's like, good luck with that. And I'm sure he was just, negotiating higher to get something. But I guess they haven't gotten back to him. So there's no one filling in for Taker right now. He's been pulled. He's not going to be at Starrcast.
And for Triple H and Stephanie, he offered to donate 100% of the proceeds to Connor's cure and match those donations himself if he got Triple H or Stephanie or Vince.
Right.
That would have been huge.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, if Undertaker did this show, Undertaker would keep the money?
Yeah.
Was he independently hired, I'm asking?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the contract wasn't finalized with WWE, assuming he's going to be wrestling in Saudi Arabia as part of that renewed package. But this is a huge deal. I mean, Double or Nothing is going to be awesome. Starrcast is going to be awesome. I'm going to be there. Raj, you're going as well, right?
I'm going for a couple days, and then I'm going to be back before Double or Nothing so we could do the podcast that night. But yeah.
But a lot of people were going specifically because you don't get to meet the Undertaker even at most WWE meet and greets.
Right. And he had some stuff in the UK scheduled. It was supposed to be a Q&A and then, taking photos and signing autographs. WWE stepped in on that. So he won't be doing the Q&A. Mick Foley's doing the Q&A, and Taker will still go, though, to do the photos and the signings. But he won't do the Q&A.
Did they say how much he was going to get to do Starrcast?
I forget what the price is.
It was something. His quote was like $75,000 an hour or something like that, wasn't it originally, Rush?
Ooh, I thought it was like 25, but
maybe that's it. It was 3 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I could look it up real quick. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, Matt, getting that much per hour?
No, $25,000 is crazy. Well, I'll be honest. I thought it was more. I really did, because he's Undertaker. Kind of I don't know. I thought like maybe some insane amount of money.
People pay for those meet and greets, man. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever done even the Comic-Con circuit, Matt, or any of that stuff? Do you ever do any of those?
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, I read about it all the time, and there are people that, not names like Matt Morgan. I mean, we're talking like people that were like B-level on the shows that only I remember from the 80s and 90s. They're getting $50, $100 for a photo and an autograph. Kind of insane.
That's kind of cool though to hear for those guys. Yeah. Well, you're in Rome, right? At that moment, right? You're with all these other wrestlers that you want their autographs. What is it, Raj?
So right now I'm seeing for that UK appearance, he was only charging $150 per photo for fans, and I'm
only.
Well, I mean,
what's the rate on Starrcast?
And I'm looking. I don't think we have his general rate, which is. Give me 2 more seconds.
Oh, so Taker's been doing things like this before? I didn't know that.
He's done a couple signings so far,
like auto shows, stuff like that.
Right.
Pretty cool.
And stuff for Kane when Kane was running for sheriff or mayor or whatever. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy world, man. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the Hardys, and I'll find the Taker here.
Oh yeah. So what's up with Jeff Hardy? Is he injured?
Here we go. So Taker, he's charging $25,000 per hour within the U.S. and more from that overseas. So,
rightfully so. That's a bitch of a flight, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff Hardy hurt his leg at a house show on Saturday night. It's not known how serious it is. He didn't wrestle on Sunday. He was in Matt's corner on Sunday. He was at the show on Monday, but never was at ringside or anything. So at Monday's SmackDown Live event. So don't know yet to the extent that he's injured, but the Hardys had just won the tag titles a couple weeks ago. And we'll keep an eye on that.
Man, I hope he continues to do a great job. Very proud of him how he's maintained his sobriety.
Yeah, and SmackDown needs the tag division. They need them right now because they got nobody with everyone going to Raw.
Desperately, but imagine all the pain that dude's in from all the crazy things he's done over the years with the maneuvers off the top of the ladders and things like that. But imagine that, right? And you dull and you numb the pain with painkillers for all those years. Now you're being asked no more. You can't do painkillers anymore. You can't do anything to numb that pain. Go get him, Tiger, at this age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, holy crap, that's impressive to me.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Oh no, I mean, it's hard to fathom looking at. I mean, these guys have not ever taken the easy road at all. I mean, no. Matt has slowed down a little bit in recent years, but Jeff certainly has not.
And Matt's been looking fantastic since he came back. As far as his
much better, yeah, he looks good.
As far as his with the shape he's in and his physique and everything.
Did you guys see the custom pinball machine that Rebby got him on Twitter? He was posting about.
No.
Oh my God, she had like this complete Matt Hardy pinball machine. Custom done for him. It's amazing. Like, go on his Twitter, watch the video of it. It's cool. Really cool. I mean, none of us will ever receive this cool of a gift in our lifetime. Absolutely incredible.
Real quick, one thing I did want to mention the Raw ratings. Raw did 2.374 million viewers, down 11% from last week. They were up against the NBA playoffs. They were down 24% from last year, the same week when they were against the NBA playoffs. So that 25% drop from last year has been staying consistent pretty much since WrestleMania. So it's a big drop. And one thing is from the first hour to the third hour, it dropped 20%. So when people talk about viewing habits and things like that, it's not like people are watching, on cable for the first hour and then switching to streaming or something in the third. People are not sticking around for the show. So,
what do you expect when the first guy to win the match, the triple threat, was AJ Styles, and the second guy was Baron Corbin? That going to keep you to the third hour, Raj? If you weren't doing this podcast, would you have stuck around for the third hour of Raw for that main event?
I would have not stuck around for most third hours. No, or a lot of them.
Yeah, but with that, they're just telling you straight up, like, you can change the channel, guys. It's going to be okay. Pretty sure who's winning this one.
I mean, just a curiosity to see if they're going with AJ versus Seth.
You can read that on the internet, Raj. You don't need to actually watch to find out if that's happening.
Yeah.
And the only reason you're doing that is because you run your own website and you're doing a podcast, I would argue. As a normal Joe Blow fan, I don't think you'd care.
Yeah.
Well, so there you have it. Backlash has been moved. When has it been moved to?
So it's 2 weeks after the Saudi Arabia show. So
the next pay-per-view after Saudi Arabia is named Backlash.
I know, that's kind of ironic. But it was originally supposed to be taking place in San Diego on June 16th. That's now going to be a house show. And the pay-per-view is now going to be from Tacoma, Washington on June 23rd. So, yeah.
Okay.
Backlash, they're still doing it. So you're going to have 2 big shows within a couple weeks in June.
Yeah. Let's see if Saudi Arabia can keep out of the headlines for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
No.
I don't even want to predict. I mean, this is just a bad relationship for so many reasons. But we'll elaborate on that as we get closer, I'm sure. Okay, folks. Matt Morgan, what do you want to plug?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. We will be naming our next city mayor this upcoming Monday, and we shall see. I have no idea where in our city, our commissioners vote on our city mayor amongst each other.
Oh, so you could get it.
And so I stand 1 in 5 chance, right? It's me and 4 other commissioners. So fingers crossed. We shall see.
Steiner math's working in your favor. Raj, what do we got coming up on the site?
We got an interview with Darren Young, who's been he talked to us about the pitches he made to AEW, creative, talent being unhappy in WWE, how it was when he was backstage over there. Gail Kim talking to us about the women being in the main event of WrestleMania, intergender wrestling, the changes that have happened since she's been with the Knockouts division, Teddy Long, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Marco Stuntz, just tons of stuff on the site. And there's tons of news this week. It's been just nonstop. So keep checking it out. And we appreciate you guys supporting the site.
But perhaps the most important thing happening this week happens in less than an hour when season 2 of Cobra Kai drops on YouTube. I'm going to be live tweeting along. Follow me on Twitter at Glenn Rubenstein, and we will catch you back here.
And Glenn, we might need to do a podcast for that.
We should very well may.
What are we using for a hashtag? I'll go on with you guys. What are you?
I'm just using Cobra Kai. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'll join you guys too.
Cool, man. And we'll catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.
See you in 50 minutes.